We've got a lot of news to go over in this video. A great set of remasters have been confirmed for the PlayStation 4. We've got a lot of news on the PlayStation brand. It looks like the PlayStation platforms will continue to get more exclusives. The PS4 looks to be entering the end of its console life cycle, and it looks like Sony is working with AMD and the Ryzen CPUs, and most likely that is for the PlayStation 5. A lot of information about Detroit Become Human is coming out ahead of its May 25th review. Some people have dropped tidbits before embargo lifts, so I'll cover a little bit of what's being said, and also I want to point your guys' attention to a great PlayStation Store sale going on right now. Yet another one. Sony has been killing it with those, so more on that at the end of this video. First up, you guys know I'm a big fan of the Yakuza games. Yakuza has really been rejuvenated over here in the States. We saw the release of Yakuza 0 last year, as well as Yakuza Kiwami. This year, we have Yakuza 6 The Song of Life, which has already been released. That was great. And we have Yakuza Kiwami 2 coming later this year. And now it has been confirmed that Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 are all being remastered for the PlayStation 4. Now, this was announced in the latest issue of Dengeki PlayStation. That is a Japanese magazine, so these haven't been confirmed over here in the States. However, considering how many of the Yakuza games have been coming over here, I would assume that at some point these would also be coming. As far as the dates of release over in Japan, Yakuza 3 will be coming in August 9th. Yakuza 4 is scheduled for fall 2018, and Yakuza 5 will be coming in spring 2019. The remasters will run at 1080p and 60 frames per second, and development on the Yakuza 3 remaster is set to be about 90% complete, which makes sense considering it's releasing in Japan in just a few months. If I had to be honest, I wouldn't release these games this year over here in the States. Again, we've got 2 Yakuza games coming out in the States already this year. Yakuza 6, of course, is already out, but Yakuza Kiwami 2 is coming in August. You don't want to flood the market with new Yakuza titles. I think you save Yakuza 3 until spring of next year. Release Yakuza 4 in the summer of next year, and then you could do Yakuza 5 by spring of 2020. So yes, I'm mapping this out very far ahead, but that's very important. You don't want to release a bunch of Yakuza titles around the same window. That just doesn't make a ton of sense. But still, it looks like Yakuza as a franchise has been gaining more and more traction over here in the States. Of course, with new game releases, that's gonna happen. And now that the popularity for the franchise is higher than ever, to see more of these games coming to the PlayStation 4, hopefully the popularity continues to grow. So you have that to be excited for as far as PlayStation 4 titles go. But also, you should be excited about the fact that Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO John Codera said to expect even more exclusives on PlayStation platforms, and I don't think that comes as too much of a shocker. We've seen Sony's new game plan. It is to create top-tier marquee exclusives, but the bit of news that's even more interesting is that Codera said that not only are they developing brand new IPs, but they are also planning on bringing back some dead franchises not seen in a very long time. Now, that really opens the floodgates to a lot of possibilities. Personally speaking, I know I'd love to see a new Resistance game. Resistance 1, 2, and 3 were some of the best games on the PlayStation 3. Resistance 3 was a marvelous game. Insomniac did a great job with that title. Unfortunately, it didn't fare too well from a commercial standpoint, but I'd love to see that series make a comeback. At the very least, bring out a collection on the PlayStation 4. I know we'd love to see a brand new Ratchet & Clank game, but going back even further than that, there's titles such as Legend of Dragoon that I know gamers would love to see a sequel to. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but let us know what past franchises you'd like to see make a comeback. I didn't even mention Siphon Filter. That's a blunder on my part. You gotta mention that when you talk about past PlayStation exclusives. Siphon Filter is a franchise I'd love to see make a comeback. Of course, Sony Bend is now working on Days Gone, so who knows if that'll happen. But again, let us know what past PlayStation franchise you'd like to see make a comeback in the future. Codera also mentioned that the PlayStation 4 is beginning to enter the end of its console life cycle. I don't think that comes as too much of a shock either. 2018 has been a great year for the PS4 with the release of God of War. Detroit is coming out this week, and you have Spider-Man coming out later this year. And 2019 looks to be stacked with titles such as Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, Days Gone, possibly Death Stranding, but that really looks to be the last wave of PlayStation 4 exclusives. You have a couple of other games such as Dreams, but by 2020, probably holiday season 2020, I think that's when the PlayStation PlayStation 5 will be released, and at the latest 2021. Speaking of the PlayStation 5, there are reports coming out that Sony is working with AMD's Ryzen CPU tech, and that will most likely be implemented into the PlayStation 5. Now, Sony has worked with AMD in the past, and their new Ryzen series CPUs are very good. They're very budget-oriented CPUs in the PC market, and many would say it has revitalized AMD in that market, so Sony working with them makes a ton of sense. That probably is for the PlayStation 5. I know some of you guys don't want to hear about that, maybe because you just picked up a PlayStation 4 Pro, but sooner rather than later, probably in the next year or two, you're going to start hearing more and more about the possibilities of a PlayStation 5. What's very interesting to me is how big of a generational leap the PS5 will be over the PS4. If you look at the PS4 versus the PS3, comparatively speaking, the leap from the PS3 to the PS4 wasn't as major as, say, the leap from the PS2 to the PS3, and of course with the PS4, you also had a mid-generational release with the PS4 Pro. So how Sony is releasing and designing consoles is a very interesting topic to talk about going into the future, but at this point, let's just talk about that in the future. But it does look like Sony is working with AMD and Ryzen CPUs for the PS5.
The showcase this year is that it's an open world game, and you know, everything you see around here, and again, we're only playing this two different ways. You saw that waterfall way up there off in the distance. There's a bridge that goes in front of that. If you had a sniper rifle and enough ammunition, you could have driven your bike all the way up there. There's trails that go all the way up there, and you could have used your sniper rifle to take out this entire camp, because it would have taken them a while to figure out where the shots were coming from and to get to you. So, you know, that's a different way to play it. There's another way to play it, by the way, where you could have just stealth in through the entire camp if you had the skills to do it.
I mentioned Detroit Become Human a little while ago, and some outlets are actually breaking embargo for that game. The embargo is supposed to lift on May 24th, but there are a couple reviews already online. I don't agree with that at all, but hey, it's out there and you can find them. One post over at Restera, a user said this, quote, "I just finished the game. I'm still under embargo, so I can't say much about it yet, sadly, but wow, what a game. By far one of the best PS4 games ever, and especially one of the best and emotional stories in video game history. Can't wait to talk about it more and see what paths everyone will take." The reviews that are out right now are very poorly written, but they are very positive towards the game. So I've been one that's been rather skeptical about Detroit Become Human, and you always have to be with a Quantic Dreams title. They are super ambitious games, and we saw how Beyond Two Souls turned out. I just wasn't sure how Detroit was gonna be, but it looks like early indications are very positive, and this could be yet another marquee PlayStation 4 exclusive that delivers. That's really remarkable to me, because when was the last time in gaming that in the span of 1 month you got two top-tier exclusives? I don't remember the last time that's happened. That is amazing. And once again, it looks like Sony is absolutely delivering with exclusives. Now, that's the early indication. We should know more on May 24th.
Some people are asking, have androids become a threat to our security?
They're coming.
North! North.
All right, what happened? They slaughtered them like animals.
Who did?
And finally, I do want to point your guys' attention to a great PSN sale that's going on right now. We'll be covering this more in depth in a future video, as we always do with the PSN sales, and Sony has been absolutely killing it with these sales. It seems like every week we get a really stellar sale. So if you miss a sale 1 week, probably the next week there's gonna be a sale just as good. And a lot of great deals here. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition is down to $20 for PSN subscribers. Dying Light the Following Enhanced Edition is discounted. There's Borderlands The Handsome Collection, Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload, so a lot of great deals there. Check it out for yourself, and we will be covering the best deals as a part of that sale in a video in the very near future. So that is going to conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts on everything in the comments section down below. What do you think about Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 being remastered onto the PlayStation 4? Have you checked out Yakuza 0 Kiwami or Yakuza 6? And if you haven't, really shame on you. They are some of the best PlayStation 4 titles thus far. What do you think about John Codera saying to expect even more exclusives on PlayStation platforms, and that they're planning on bringing back some dead franchises not seen in a very long time? Let us know what franchises you'd like to see make a comeback. I know a lot of you guys are already going to say Siphon Filter, Jack and Daxter, but maybe we can also get some interesting input in there. It looks like the PS4 is entering the end of its console life cycle, and Sony is working with AMD and Ryzen CPU tech, probably for the PS5. Early indications that Detroit Become Human is a very good game. We should know more on May 24th after the embargo lifts, and make sure you give a look at that extended play sale over on the PlayStation Store right now. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.